Hello and welcome to this lecture on the AVG aggregate function. AVG is abbreviated to average. So the AVG aggregate function is used to return the average value of a numeric column. So the column you are performing the AVG function on has to be a numeric column. So this is how you would include an AVG aggregate function in a T-SQL query. So you begin with the select keyword, and then after the select you add the AVG aggregate function, and then you've got the parentheses. In between the parentheses is where you specify the column names you want to perform the AVG function on. If you want to perform on all the columns, then you put an asterisk in the parentheses. The from here is where you specify the table that you are performing the AVG function on. So let's head over to SQL Server Management Studio and make a connection to our SQL Server. I have connected to my SQL Server using the SQL Server Management Studio, and let's open up the new query window. So this button here gives you the new query window, which is where we will write our query. First, also we need to select the database we want to execute the query against. So select AdventureWorks. So that's the database I want to use. And let's look at the tables in this database. So I click on database and then tables. I've selected the AdventureWorks here. And let's look at the table. I'm going to pick a table from the human resources schema, and we're going to be using the employees table. Okay, so let's have a look at what this table looks like. Do select star. The star means everything. I haven't specified a column, so the star will bring back all the columns. From, I need to specify the schema first, and then the table. Just by putting a dot, it will give me a list of tables. I'll go for that. And then semicolon. Is always good practice to end your queries with a semicolon or semicolon. So I click execute. So this is all the columns and records from the employee table, which belongs to the human resources schema. So look at it, it's got 290 rows. So let's look at what the rows look like. In order to use an AVG aggregate function, it has to be used on a numeric column. So any column that's got numbers like this. Look at all the columns. Okay, I like this 2 columns. These are all numeric. So we're going to use the sick leave hours column. All right, let's just expand that. This is sick leave hours. So we're going to use the AVG function to find out the average times employees have been sick. Okay, so we're going to do that. So let's do that now. To save a bit of time, so you don't have to watch me type in the query, I have written the query out here. On line 4 is the select keyword. Immediately after the select keyword, I've specified the AVG function. And the column I'm using here, I've passed in a column as a value. I'm using this column here, sick leave hours. That's the column we're going to perform the AVG function on. And then because I want the result of this function to be placed in a column, I have created a column here called average sicky hours. So this column here will appear in the output of the query, exactly as I've placed it, but without the square brackets. Line 5 here is the from. This is where we'll specify the schema and the table. All right. The go here is not part of the query. It's just a signal that the query has been executed. So let's highlight that and click execute. See, it's giving me total of 45. So the average SQL hours, let's expand that. The average SQL hours used up by employees is 45. That's the average times employees have taken time off being sick. I'm going to show you another example using another column called vacation. So we're going to find out the vacation hours that employees have used. I have already written the script here. So from line 9 to 10 is the script. So we started with the select keyword and then the average function, and the parameters I've passed for this average function is the vacation hours, which is this column here. And so I want to find out the average holiday hours employees have used. So I've created another column here, kind of like a pseudo column. It's not a real column, but just where where it will output the result. So this here is just a temporary label for the column. So let's execute that. All right, so 50. So what is telling me that the average vacation hours, or rather holiday hours, as I've put it here, that employees have used up is 50. All right, so this is an example of how the AVG aggregate function is used. In this lecture, we looked at the AVG aggregate function. We created a couple of examples using AVG aggregate function. Thank you so much for your time. Please do not hesitate to ask me any questions. I'll be more than delighted to help. Take care and best of wishes.